Hello and welcome into this week's RNN Diecast review right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Diecast review, since we're in that period where Chinese New Year hit and they weren't shipping out anything for a while, I didn't have a new race to win yet. There will be a new one next week, but that got me to thinking, what can we do this week to fill the gap? And I had a few different ideas. We could have gone back. If you remember early on in the Diecast review, we were doing Flashback Fridays where we were taking some older diecasts and looking at them, and I thought about doing one of those this week that we didn't do on Flashback Friday. And I had a few different ideas to look at, and I settled on this one. You've seen the title, you know what this is. It's Kasey Kahne's last ride from Darlington last season. His throwback to his Evernham paint scheme. And I settled on this one because this is probably the worst quality diecast that I have gotten from Lionel in months. I know, but pretty much I think all of us that have gotten diecasts from Lionel at some point or another have had these issues. The paint chips, the paint problems, the decal misplacements, the broken spoilers, you name it, we've probably all experienced at least one of those at some point. I hadn't had any of those problems for a while. I know some people have, but I hadn't had any of those issues for a while. I think the last one I really had an issue with was my Bubba Wallace 2018 Daytona 500 race version with a broken spoiler. Since then, I can't think of any major problems I've had with any diecast that came. This one, though, this one probably takes the cake for a worse one I've gotten since that. It's not a broken spoiler, and nothing on here makes it worse than the Bubba Wallace car with the broken spoiler, but I am nonetheless pretty disappointed with this one in the quality I received in this car. It's not great quality. So first off, let's look at the box. This is one of the last ARCs that I ordered from Lionel before I switched over to even standard paint schemes. I'm getting in Elites now. I can't justify paying $55 for the cheap quality you get out of these ARCs now. But nonetheless, this does get the standard Darlington box. You get a render of the car there on the front. Nothing special on that side. And the production sticker. 505 of these made, so it just barely made MOQ to where it was able to be made. And I know there was a lot of talk about this one, whether it was going to be made or not, and apparently somehow it did make it to MOQ. So it's good that we do have this car, but it's just not, at least the one that I got, it's just not good quality. And we will see here in a moment why that is. And it's not any one big thing. It's a bunch of little small problems with the car that combine for a real issue here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the car here. Pop the hood and take a look under there. Underneath the hood you have only Chevy. Take a look at the ARC engine detail, or the lack thereof. Now, you've probably noticed already, maybe, I don't know how well it's shown up in the camera, what the first issue here is, and probably the biggest issue on this car here on the nose. Two giant, very noticeable, I don't know how noticeable they are in the camera, but they are very noticeable to the naked eye, paint chips here on the nose. One right here on the point of the Camaro nose, and one of them right here in the red paint as well. Very noticeable, very ugly looking. I don't know. I would consider that unacceptable. I don't understand how that even happens on a car that is screwed down to a base inside the box and is not touching anything with the nose. I can kind of understand it with the Elite packaging, where the car is kind of loose and it bounces around in transit. that doesn't make it any more acceptable on an Elite, but I can kind of understand it with the packaging. This, I don't understand how this even happens, because the car doesn't move enough to where it would hit anything to rub the paint off. So that tells me this happened somewhere in the factory, which is even worse. So I don't understand what the deal with this factory is, but Lionel needs to figure something out with this factory, because it's not doing good things. Otherwise, on the nose here, we've got the Levine Family Racing logo, number 95, and the normal Chevy Camaro nose. On the hood, Dumont Jets, Monster Energy logo across the banner on the windshield. 95 on the roof with the Evernham style number 9. Roof flaps do function. Kahne across the back window, DIN number 419, Procore on the deck lid. Now, we haven't had any other problems yet, but we're going to start getting more here as we get further along with the car. And I just noticed another one that I hadn't noticed before, so we'll get to that in a moment. So down the left side here, see a small paint chip right here. If the camera will go back in focus. A little dot of red right there, that's paint chip. And that's not the only one on this car. Continue down the left side, throwback contingency sponsors. There's a dot of dark something there that does not come off. I don't know what that is. It's not really a paint chip, because the base paint underneath this is red. So red is what would be showing up there. I'm not really sure what that is. Some kind of dirt or something, I guess. They got caught in the clear coat or the paint or something. Cloth window neck, Kasey Kahne across the name rail. Sponsors down the B post. Blackbeard down the C post. Wix, Zach, and Mechanics Wear down here. Another little tiny paint chip here above the jack stand. Dumont Jets and Thorn. And I don't know how well it's showing up in the camera, but there's a bunch of little tiny like black specks along through here that I don't know if it's stuff that got caught in the clear coat or what it is, but it doesn't rub off, and it's fairly annoying too, because it takes away from the appearance of the car. On the back bumper, Dumont Jets, Camaro ZL1, number 95, and there's a few issues back here on the back bumper too. There's a very noticeable paint chip right here on the left side. There's some kind of like little blue mark or something right there. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't come off. And there's other little tiny like specks in the clear coat as well. So the back bumper does not look good at all. And then here down the right side, more little specks in the clear coat. And then it's not very noticeable to the camera. This is what I noticed a second ago. The wrap that they used on here is actually ripped right here in the middle of the Wix logo. Again, I don't know how well that's showing up in the camera. I think you can kind of see it. There's a little bit of a rip there in the middle of the Wix logo where the wrap apparently didn't like the crease here in the body. I don't know. But otherwise, I think that's all the issues here we've got with this. So again, like I said, it's nothing huge. There's no big issues with this car to where it's a gigantic issue, but it's a bunch of little tiny problems adding up to a not very high quality car. And it's just kind of annoying, because that's what a lot of this is. You don't get, most of the time, and I know there's some exceptions to this. I know there's some people that have gotten a lot of these big issues like broken spoilers and things like that, but most of us aren't getting those on a regular basis. It's very rare to get something like that for a lot of us. It's the little tiny stuff like this that's not a huge deal, but when you get multiple of those things added up on one car, it's just, it makes a not very good car. And the thing is, none of those things are big enough issues that I feel like I need to send this back. But the problem is there's so many of them. I don't know. It's very annoying. Lionel has got to figure out something with their factory. Or we need another diecast supplier to step up and start giving them some competition So they have a reason to fix their issues, because I think that's the biggest issue right now here is Lionel has a monopoly on the NASCAR diecast market. So any of these big issues, they don't feel any pressure to really fix them because they don't have any competition. They're not going to lose your business unless you stop buying diecasts altogether. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I actually kind of do wish somebody else would step up and start offering some diecasts at this point. Because back in the day, we had some really good quality diecasts. I've got some really good quality diecasts sitting around here from 10, 15 years ago when we had multiple options for places to get diecasts from. Of course, Action, Team Caliber really were probably the top two in terms of quality. But because they had all that competition, even the competition among themselves, that gave them a reason to put out the best quality diecast they possibly could, because if they didn't, you just take your business to the other guy. So, I don't know. I wish somebody else would step up and give Lionel some competition so these things would get fixed. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, unfortunately, for those of us that want to keep buying diecasts, I guess we have to keep dealing with issues like this, which is really annoying. But again, what are you going to do at this point? So next week on the Diecast review, the Ryan Blaney Charlotte Roval win is on its way to me right now. Didn't make it quite in time to do it this week, so that should be next week's Diecast review. And then I am not sure what the next one will be after that. I haven't received anything about anything else I've pre-ordered being ready to go since the Ryan Blaney Roval win, so I don't know what else is close or is about to ship or what is a possibility to get soon. So 2 weeks in the future, I don't know what we're going to have on here, but I do know next week should be the Ryan Blaney Roval win, unless USPS loses it somewhere in transit and we don't have it in time. So that's something to look forward to next week. From what I've seen, that is a really cool looking diecast, so I'm looking forward to that one. Off weekend this weekend for ARCA, so we're not going anywhere for live coverage from the track. We will be in Toledo in 2 weeks, though. I think it's just Cup and Xfinity in Kansas this weekend, so of course we'll have rewind shows for those. I do apologize for not having any rewind shows for Dover races this weekend or pole position this week. After going down to Nashville, coming back, having to do a K&N rewind and an ARCA rewind, interviews with Tanner Gray and Derek Kraus, getting back into the day job. There wasn't enough time in the day to do either one of those this week. So I do apologize for that if you were looking forward to those. But those will be back on track this week, I promise you. So that is some stuff to look forward to this week. And I think that'll do it for this Diecast review. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. We just hit 240 subscribers. I do plan on doing something for 250 subscribers. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do for that yet. So if you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments, and I will take those into consideration. Because like I said, I don't really know what I want to do yet. I know I want to do something for you for 250 subscribers, just not sure what exactly that's going to be just yet. So keep that in mind and help us out. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe so we can get to that 250 subscriber point, or tell your friends or whoever if you think they will enjoy RNN. But I think that'll do it for this RNN Diecast review. So as always, I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.